Hare Krishna. On behalf of the World Headquarters of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, I, Radhapati Gopinath Das, extend a very warm welcome to all the devotees and the guests who are watching us on Mayapur TV Live, on Facebook Live of Mayapur TV, and also on the YouTube channel of Mayapur TV. Last 2 days have been truly nectarian. We got a chance to hear from His Holiness Bhakti Vijay Bhagavat Swami Maharaj. We heard from His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. We also heard from His Holiness Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. Yesterday we had the good fortune to hear Nityananda Prabhu's glorious pastimes from His Grace Amoghalila Prabhu, His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, His Grace Gauranga Prabhu, and His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. Today, it being the Adivas ceremony day of Lord Nityananda, the guest speakers are the finest in our society. We are very, very fortunate to have His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj today with us. Followed by his session would be the session conducted by His Holiness Shachinandan Swami Maharaj, and then His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj will be gracing the occasion. We are expecting His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj also briefly. It is tentative and yet to be confirmed. Having said that, it's time because today, unfortunately, because of some technical glitches, we started 10 minutes late. So we are headway now going towards our virtual parikrama of Ekachakra Dham. Today we will cover ISKCON Ekachakra temple. We will have darshan of Gaur Nitai of ISKCON, and we will also see Banking Rai's temple. My humble request to all you devotees, this is the last day of the 3-day celebrations titled as Nitai Kathamrita, Nectar of Sri Nitai. So since tomorrow is the auspicious appearance day and today is the Adivas ceremony, please visit the website www.servemayapur.com. I repeat, www.servemayapur.com. And whatever contributions you will be making on this website will be exclusively sent to Sri Ekachakra Dham to celebrate Nityananda Trayodashi. So go ahead and contribute. Tomorrow we will be feeding more than 20,000 pilgrims who are residents of Ekachakra Dham and nearby areas. And apart from that, Adivas ceremony is being celebrated there now. Also, tomorrow would be the auspicious Abhishek of Sri Sri Gaur Nitai. So you all can participate in that through the medium of service. One plate of prasadam to the Dhamvasis is costing us 40 rupees, and we are feeding 20,000 Dhamvasis. If each one of you take the responsibility of taking care of 500 Dhamvasis, it just makes it 20,000 rupees. But guess what? Servitor Lord's appearance day, and we are serving his birthplace on that very day, what can be a better service than that? आप सभी भक्तों को मैं राधापति गोपीनाथ दास अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कृष्ण भावनामृत संघ के वैश्विक मुख्यालय श्रीधाम मायापुर से हार्दिक अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत करता हूँ। आज हमारे मध्य हैं परम पूजनीय लोकनाथ स्वामी महाराज, परम पूजनीय शचिनंदन स्वामी महाराज तथा परम पूजनीय भानु स्वामी महाराज। इसके अलावा हमें अपेक्षा है कि परम पूजनीय गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज भी कुछ समय के लिए अपने आशीर्वचन प्रस्तुत करने हेतु यहाँ पधारेंगे, हालांकि ये अभी तक निश्चित नहीं हुआ है। हम आप सभी से निवेदन करते हैं कि आप कृपा करके सर्वमायापुर.com नामक वेबसाइट पर जाएं और आप जो भी कंट्रीब्यूशन, जो भी डोनेशन नित्यानंद त्रयोदशी उत्सव को मनाने के लिए देना चाहते हैं, वो कृपया इस वेबसाइट पर देवें। आपके द्वारा दी गई पूरी धनराशि केवल एकचक्र धाम में नित्यानंद त्रयोदशी के आयोजन में खर्च की जाएगी। कल हम 20,000 से अधिक धामवासियों को मुफ्त में प्रसाद वितरण करने वाले हैं। एक प्रसाद की प्लेट 40 रुपए की हमें पड़ रही है। हम 8 लाख रुपए का प्रसाद वितरण आप सभी की सहायता से करना चाहते हैं। उसके अलावा भी भगवान के अभिषेक, आदिवास, वैष्णवों के प्रसाद और भगवान की जो वेशभूषा है उन सभी और श्रृंगार के जो जितने भी खर्चे हैं उन सब में आप सहयोग दे सकते हैं। नित्यानंद प्रभु परम भगवान का प्रथम विस्तार है और उनके आविर्भाव दिवस में, उनके जन्मस्थली में नित्यानंद त्रयोदशी के दिन उनकी सेवा करने से अधिक सौभाग्यशाली बात और क्या हो सकती है। इसलिए संकोच न करें। मैं 3 या 4 बार आप सबसे यह अपील करूंगा इस कार्यक्रम के मध्य में, ताकि मैं आपको याद दिला सकूं कि जब भी हम किसी का जन्म दिवस मनाते हैं तो हम उसको उस जन्म दिवस पर कुछ भेंट या उपहार प्रस्तुत करते हैं और फिर वो हमें प्रत्युत्तर में भेंट या उपहार प्रस्तुत करते हैं। ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति, ये रूप गोस्वामी द्वारा कथित वाक्य है। इससे प्रेम बढ़ता है। लेकिन जब हम नित्यानंद प्रभु को सेवा देते हैं तो वे हमें कृपा देते हैं। वो श्रद्धा का मूल्य लेकर नाम के बाजार से हरिनाम प्रदान कर देते हैं। अतएव अपने आप को सौभाग्यशाली बनाने हेतु निश्चित रूप से आप इस सेवा में संलग्न होवें। आइए अब हम एक चक्र धाम की परिक्रमा पर चलते हैं, जहां आज हम इस्कॉन एक चक्र मंदिर का दर्शन करेंगे। हरे कृष्णा। मैं टेक्निकल टीम से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे कृपया परिक्रमा प्रारंभ करें।
राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Here we are here, one of the most important place in Ekachakra Gram. Ekachakra village, also known as Birchandrapur. Birchandra is Vishnu Tattva, and he appeared as son of Vasudha Devi. As all of you know, Nityananda Prabhu and Vasudha Jannava, 2 sisters that married to Nityananda Prabhu. And Vasudha's son was Nitya Birchandra Prabhu. By his name, this village name Birchandrapur. The Bankara day to is very special. So it has been described like this. So Lord Nityananda was playing in Hathugoda. That pastime has been described to you by Nadugopal. I also described to you about Kardam Khandi, that how Nityananda Prabhu, he found this deity in Jamuna river in Kardam Khandi. That history I have described you. That same deity, Bankim Rai, who is known as locally as Banka Rai, has been worshipped here. And you see there is two deities in both sides of Bankarai. So the local people believe they are Vasudha Janava because Nityananda Prabhu has entered into this Bankarai's deity form, and some says Radharani and Janava Mata, so different kinds of concept, whatever it is. Ultimately, absolute truth is one, and there are all his antaranga Shakti, pleasure-giving potency. So there is no difference. So pleasure-giving potency is giving, and here they believe Vasudha Janava is there next to Bankarai, just as a witness that Nityananda Prabhu has entered into Bankarai's temple, and this temple is now deity puja going on very nicely. The sevaks here doing very good seva, and this place is improving very nicely, and thousands of devotees, and special festivals takes place. Festival Utsav कब है? Nityananda त्रयोदशी. On Nityananda त्रयोदशी, they have very big festival. Thousands of people they come here every day. They have nice seva puja going on here. Jai Bankarai ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. When the Pandavas were in exile, they were most fortunate to be guided by Vyasadeva, who actually brought them personally to Ekachakra Dham, to this very place. Vyasadeva instructed them to be here at least for a month, after which Vyasadeva said he will come and guide them to the next place. Yudhishthira Maharaj, along with Mother Kunti and other brothers, they were residing here in this very place in Ekachakra Dham. Yudhishthira Maharaj saw the most enchanting beauty of Ekachakra Dham. Please know that Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas have been in exile for a long time, have seen so much beauty, so many beautiful forests, such beautiful nature they have experienced. But Yudhishthira Maharaj thought that nothing can compare to Ekachakra Dham's beautiful nature. So he was meditating. What is the reason? Is the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear in this place? And he was begging the Lord, please, my Lord, please reveal to me. So one day while he was resting, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Balaram, appeared in his dream. And he revealed that in the beginning of Kali Yuga, he will appear as Nityananda Prabhu by the order of his Lord and Master, Lord Gauranga. And therefore this place is so beautiful, is because Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Balaram, will appear in Ekachakra Dham. So that dream, it actually took place in this place. Hare Krishna. Narottam Das Thakur was returning to Kheturi from Jagannath Puri. On the way back to Kheturi, Narottam Das Thakur came to Ekachakra Dham in order to take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. When Narottam Das Thakur entered Ekachakra Dham, Narottam Das Thakur was so enchanted to see the beautiful place. He could feel the transcendental atmosphere of this amazing place, Ekachakra Dham. Nityananda Prabhu himself took the form of an elderly Brahmin and approached Narottam Das Thakur, asking him, "Where are you from? What's your name? And what is the purpose of your visit to Ekachakra Dham?" Narottam Das Thakur, paying obeisances at the dust of that Brahmin, said, "My lord, my name is Narottam Das. I am from Kheturi. I am just coming from Nilachal. I will be going back to Kheturi. I have come here to have darshan of the holy place. I wanted to see the different places of pastime places of Lord Nityananda Prabhu." The Brahmin replied, "Oh, I reside here. I could guide you to different holy places of Ekachakra Dham." Nityananda Prabhu, in that form of a Brahmin, guided Narottam Das Thakur to all the pastime places of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Who else but Lord Nityananda Prabhu knows better about the pastime places here? Nityananda Prabhu, in the form of that Brahmin, took Narottam Das Thakur to all the holy places. And then the Brahmin just disappeared. Narottam Das Thakur began to pathetically cry because somehow or other he became so attached to that Brahmin. Narottam Das Thakur didn't know why he was so attracted to that Brahmin. He began to cry and he thought that if I don't see that Brahmin one more time, better I just end my life. He was sitting in a place and just pathetically crying, begging that Brahmin to appear again. Seeing how Narottam Das Thakur so eagerly wanted to see him again, Nityananda Prabhu came in front of Narottam Das Thakur in the form of that elderly Brahmin. To bless Narottam Das Thakur, that Brahmin took the form of Lord Balaram. And then he took the form of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He fell at the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. Narottam Das Thakur began to cry profusely, begging for mercy. Nityananda Prabhu was so pleased with Narottam Das Thakur. He said, "Don't reveal about my identity to anyone. I am always with you. Go on preaching. Preach the message of Mahaprabhu all over." Then Nityananda Prabhu disappeared. Narottam Das Thakur stayed overnight in Ekachakra and then proceeded to Kheturi Dham. So this is such an important place for all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. All the prominent acharyas came here to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu.
KPM, the divine darshan of his colleague, as well as ready to deliver the talk. Hare Krishna, can you hear us? You are connected. I would request the tech team to kindly connect with Maharaj's coordinator devotee and revert to us with the details. Maharaj's slot, the timing has begun now. It was scheduled for 6:30 p.m. Okay. Having said that, सभी भक्त जो इस दिव्य दर्शन को देख रहे थे उन्हें बता दूं कि हमने एकचक्र धाम में बांका राय का मंदिर का दर्शन किया और फिर हमने पांडवतला के स्थान के भी दर्शन किए और अंत में बहुत ही मधुर हमने लीला सुनी थी श्रीला नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की एक चक्र यात्रा पर। अब मैं निवेदन करूंगा, महाराज ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, आइए हम सब महाराज के मुखारविंद से श्रवण करें इस दिव्य लीला का कि श्रीमान नित्यानंद प्रभु के विषय में है। हरे कृष्णा।
हरि हरि
महाराज
Yeah.
जय जय जय। Please accept my very very respectful obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada.
Hare
The
Hare.
floor is all yours, Maharaj. Can you hear us?
Yeah, off and on, yeah.
Okay. We are unable to see you. We right now just see a screen where it is written Lumix webcam software beta version. While Maharaj is getting ready with all the technical arrangements, may I request the tech team to please on the screen display the name of the URL of the website so that other devotees who are watching us can go to the website to do their contribution for Ekachakra Dham. The website name is www.sarvmayapur.com. And once you go on to that website, you can see all the same opportunities which are there. Scroll down kindly so that devotees can see. Yes. Dive deep in the nectarian glories of Lord Nityananda and then join Nitai. You can go ahead and make your contribution with all these seva opportunities. And the moment Maharaj is ready, we will start the session. As you can see, there are multiple seva opportunities available there for Adivas, for Abhishek services. All the ingredients are also there. You can sponsor honey, curd, milk, all kinds of Abhishek ingredients. Tomorrow we will be feeding 20,000 pilgrims and we are keeping a budget of 800,000, which means 8 lakh rupees only to feed Dhamvasis and the people of nearby areas of the Ekachakra Dham. So please go ahead and serve the Servitor Lord on his appearance day of this day, of this moment, and of your Lakshmi. So you can sponsor Bhoga, you can sponsor the paraphernalia, you can sponsor, and Maharaj is here. Thank you so much, Maharaj. over to you, please. Jai.
Om Ajnanantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunnitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gaudodaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shamdo Tamonudo Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Nimai Kathamrita Mahotsava ki. Nimai Nitai Kathamrita Mahotsava ki. So, I think we could have just continued the parikrama and seen the scenes and heard the pastimes of those places. One image, one painting is like 1,000 words. Don't even have to speak. You could just see and understand and realize. Anyway, I'm not, unfortunately, physically there. So, Ekachakra Gram Dham Ki Jai. That's the glimpses that we were getting through this tour, kind of thrilling experience. The beauty and is very enchanting. Adi of Ekachakra Ram, where Lord Balaram appears as Balarama hoila Nitai, Nanda Nandana Jai Sati Sutta hoila Sai Balarama hoila Nitai. So that Balaram is, well, he's about to appear again. We are preparing for his appearance tomorrow, but he did appear in, well, first time ever, or this time around, in 1474, just 12 years before Gauranga's appearance at Ekachakra Gram Dham. As we were hearing from Narugopal Prabhu about Pandavas visiting Ekachakra Gram and Vyasadeva giving a tour to them, and I was reminded that Ekachakra, how did Ekachakra Gram name? It was 10th day of the battle of Kurukshetra, and grandfather Bhishma had, well, taken vow, either Krishna has to lift the weapon, they had taken vow, I will not fight, I will not lift any weapon, use any weapon. Either he has to do that or I will kill Arjun. So next day, I will not try to make a long story short. So on that 10th day, there was a fierce battle between Arjun and Father Bhishma, and Krishna was forced to pick up Chakra, and he's known as Chakra Pani. He took a wheel of a chariot and he was rushing towards grandfather Bhishma to kill him, but to a change of heart, and he was displeased that Lord broke his promise. So he started offering prayers to the Lord, and then that weapon, instead of using to be used on or making grandfather Bhishma the target, he threw that off, and that chakra landed in what is known as Ekachakra, Dham Mayapur. So that's making the connection, or kind of setting the scene so that Balram would appear at this Ekachakra Ram. That's another connection. Mahabharata, Pandavas, and battle, and Krishna's chakra ending there. So on, well, any day that Lord appears is auspicious, but we know he appeared on Trayodasi, Magh Shukla Trayodasi, that is tomorrow. And well, the demigods are following protocols. They know Lord is getting ready to appear. So they have appeared also and offering their prayers. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Sunvanti Jaisavai. They're offering prayers and flowers, greeting and welcoming. Jai Nimai. Nityananda Prabhu Ki.
Jai.
So that's Nityananda Prabhu. He's going to be spending next 12 years in Ekachakra ground. Of course, he has taken birth in a family of a great Brahmin, king of Brahmins, this Oja, Hadai Pandit, and Padmavati. They are non-different from Dashrath and Sumitra of Treta Yuga, and Vasudeva and Devaki of Dwapar Yuga, and in Kali Yuga they have become Hadai Pandits and Padmavati, giving birth to Nimai, to Nitai, giving birth to Nitai. You say Ekachakra Gram, well, the Jamuna is there. We just heard how Lord Balaram, who has become Nityanand now, he found, or he saw the deity of Bankim Rai floating down the stream. Kadamakhandi is mentioned as Kadamakhandi Ghat and Jamuna, and there goes the Bankim Rai, and Nityanand, he installs that deity on the banks of the Jamuna. This is reminding me, this is like a Vrindavan. Ekachakra ground. And the pastime that, well, he's going to be performing most of the pastimes of Vrindavan, all also of Mathura pastimes. The whole group of his associates, all the friends, all the young boys of Ekachakra Gram are part of that play, part of those pastimes. And I mean, as a children, you are supposed to be playing. Bala avastha krida sakta. Children are attached to play. They like to play. Today's a holiday. Let's play. So Nityananda Prabhu is a child. He's a boy. So he is exhibiting similar tendencies, inclination to play as a child. His ball full of leelas is playing, and he has friends to play with. And Nityananda Prabhu is like a story writer, is a director, is a leading actor. He's like a puppet master, puppeteer, and getting all his associates to act, dance, do, play as per his wishes. There's a place in we didn't see in the video today in Ekachakra Gram called Bakul Tala. This is the area where the children played, and well, you know, they are not playing cricket or computer games. They are playing, enacting the pastime of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan, in Mathura. Well, there will be also pastimes of Sri Dham as a Vamandev, as Parshuram. And this is how Nityananda Prabhu has spent his time in Ekachakra Gram. Beginning with, okay, there's a decline in principles of religion, time for Lord to advent. Mother Earth is in trouble. So the plays, the pastimes begin, and they go to the bank of Ksirasagar, milk ocean. For them, the Jamuna is a milk ocean, and the earth is also there. The Bhumi, when someone is playing the act of Bhumi, and they're praying for, and they hear Akashvani, unembodied voice. Yes, I am about to come. You all appear also. And then the pastimes in Vrindavan. Yeah, Lord is he promised that I will be appearing. You also appear. So the marriage of Vasudeva and Devaki is performed. That's one play. And Krishna, on Krishnastami, he has taken his birth in Kansa's prison house. There's another place. The series of plays. The child is taken over to Gokul. Child is only 6 days old. Big Rakshasi coming. And Rakshasi killed by Sri Krishna. There's another play. Krishna is 3 months old. And Shaktasur Leela. Krishna killing Shaktasur. Krishna is 1 year old, whirlwind demon, and he's killed. And Dhenukasur is killed. Oh, nice fragrance. This is of those tall fruits on tall trees. But we can't go there. It's a Dhenukasur is protecting and keeping us away from those tall forests and tall fruits. Krishna and Balaram brings them to this tall forest, and Dhenukasur is killed. Another pastime. Bakasur is killed. Another pastime. Lifting Govardhan hill. So like that, as if, the whole script is from Bhagavatam, and the chapter after chapter, the pastime after pastime of the pastime, they are performing, and Nityananda Prabhu is the leader. All these boys spend most of their time with and around Balaram. They even stay with Balaram, spend night with Balaram. And their parents are very happy. In fact, not only, of course, the Hadai Pandit and Padmavati loved their son, Nitai, Nitai. But not just them, all the residents of Ekachakra, they would take Nitai, Nityananda into their laps and embrace him, smell his head, and express their affection for him. And pastimes after pastime would go on in this area where this Bakul Tala, there's another thing. The Bakul Tala, there's a tree. It has the branches like the hoods of Anantasesh. Like Anantasesh has appeared. That tree, like Ananta has appeared in the form of that tree. And so that's the scene where all these pastimes are performed by Nityananda and his friends, his associates. So I think they go on with playing pastimes of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan, and then finally to Mathura, and they end up killing Kamsa, and then they're switching over to other pastimes. Jai Sri Ram. Well, in the middle of all this is happening, at some point, I think it's almost towards the end of Nityananda Prabhu's stay in Ekachakra Gram, the Gauranga has appeared, Balaram Hoila Nitai, Nanda Nandana Jai Sachisuta Hoila Sai. And when Nityananda Prabhu, what just now, Gauranga, he is Nityananda Gauranga has appeared in Mayapur, Navadvip. He begins roaring the Humkar by welcoming and broadcasting the news of the appearance of Gauranga, and his Humkar, his roar is such a loud and widespreading all over the universe. It says all the universes heard the roar of Nityananda Prabhu as Gauranga had appeared. So Nityananda Prabhu has continued his pastimes with his friends of other incarnation of Sri Ram. I think one of this very interesting and pastime, which is a little more elaborately explained, described by Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat, is when they are performing the pastime of Ram crossing Indian Ocean, building the bridge for that. And they are in Lanka now, and the whole battle is on. And there is one scene where Nityananda Prabhu, well, now he's Lakshman, is going to be killing Indrajit point. Lakshman is defeated. Yeah, prior to that particular pastime, everyone was told lines what how to act, what to do when, and all the rehearsals were conducted. But then something they forgot to do that day, that particular day. So the Lakshman, while he's battling, at one point, it says in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Ravan threw a weapon at Lakshman. Lakshman was a target for those who are playing the role of Ravan. He just threw a lotus flower, and Nityananda Prabhu, he collapsed and he's unconscious. His breathing stops. No pulse. All the first gather around, and they don't know what to do. They are all saying, "Get up, get up, wake up, get up, wake up." And the news reaches Hadai Pandit and Padmavati. They come running, rushing, and they see their dear Nityanand is like a no more, is lost his life. So they are crying and screaming and rolling on the ground, and a lot of crowds gathering, and the whole scene, they're all crying. So luckily, in the meantime, the friends remembered, hey, we were told by Nityanand that when he lies on the ground unconscious, okay, you have to try to get him up and he will be crying, but Hanuman should be sent to get Jadi Booty, get some herbs. So that part they had forgotten. So then that the friend who was playing a role of Hanuman, he was reminded, hey, go get medicine. So he goes all the way to Himalayan mountain and he picks up part of the mountain, Gandhamadhan Parvat. He couldn't identify which one of this is the right medicine either. So he picks up mountain and flies back to Lanka, and then medicine was offered to and Nityanand Prabhu his jumps and is back into action, and everyone comes back to kind of get their life back, kind of losing their life, seeing Nityanand Prabhu in that state, and there was a whole jubilation and celebration, and more past that up with Parshuram and Vaman Dev. I wish we had time to talk about all this. And Nityanand Prabhu also had no time to go on with these pastimes in Ekachakra Gram. He was getting anxious to catch up with Gauranga, and he was making plans he wanted to leave Ekachakra Gram. So of course no one else knows, only Yoga Maya knows, Leela Shakti knows, Ichha Shakti. And then comes Brahmin, he becomes a guest of Adai Pandit and Padmavati. Atithi Devo Bhava, and he was welcomed, and the hospitality of the best order, and the food cooked, and as he was about to be offered prasadam, he says, I will not take my meal if you do not fulfill my wish, or do you promise that? And they say, yes, Maharaj, your wish is our command. Certainly, please honor prasad. So he honors prasadam, and then when he was ready to leave, he says, I would like Nityanand to go with me and assist me during my travels. But he's just a little boy. How could he be away from home and his parents and this and that? But finally, they are ready for such a sacrifice, and they let Nitai go accompany this traveling mendicant. And as everyone got to know, he's no more in town. He has departed. Nityananda is no more in town. So, I mean, we could imagine what all the residents of Ekachakra Gram, those friends of Arden, the parents, they lost their Lord of their heart. And then Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balaram, as Balaram had traveled all over India, following in the footsteps, Nityananda Prabhu also traveled. He's not running to Mayapur that quickly. He wants Nimai to continue his pastimes and let him become devotee and let him become the chanter of the holy name. Let him get initiated and begin chanting Hare Krishna. So Nityananda Prabhu was waiting, and finally, as Nityananda Prabhu was in Vrindavan on the banks of Radha Kund, he gets, he already knew, but then he made up his mind and he ran to Navadvip Mayapur, and at the Bhavan, what is that Bhavan?
Nandanacharya.
Is where first their meeting between Gauranga and Nityananda took place, and then they continued their pastimes in Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Navadvip, and then in Jagannath Puri and other places. Hari Gauranga Nityananda, Jai Satyananda Swami Maharaj ki. On time. So I will let Maharaj take over and carry forward. Lots of nectar
For your mercy. And
for you.
over to His Holiness. Shri.
Ekachakra Gram Dham ki Jai.
Hi.
Jai. Thank you very much, Lokanath Maharaj, for bringing us to Ekachakra Gram and guiding us through the amazing childhood pastimes of Lord Nityananda, which ended in his dramatic departure or leaving Ekachakra Gram. I heard that after his departure, Hadayoja would often go to the places where Lord Nityananda played, and he would look, but he only now saw empty fields, deserts without Lord Nityananda, and he couldn't bear that separation, so that after 3 months he departed to the eternal spiritual world. And Ekachakra Gram became a deserted village. Everyone left because they could not bear being separated from this most attractive personality. Yeah, thank you very much. And we could hear you have been many times in Ekachakra Gram with the different parikramas, and you know the places and you know the mood there. In my little presentation today, I would like to focus only on one lesser known Leela and talk a little bit about who is Lord Nityananda and how we can make a relationship, establish a relationship to the Lord. Let me start by offering my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paskatyate Shatarine. When Krishna steps to the right side, he becomes Balaram, his first expansion. And Balaram expands in various forms until finally he is here in Kali Yuga as Lord Nityananda. Narottam Das Thakur reminds us of the purpose of Lord Balaram's appearance as Lord Nityananda. He says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda have appeared for one particular reason, that is to give mercy to the very fallen and wretched souls of this Kali Yuga. Dina hina jato chila, hariname udharila, tara sakshi, jagayan madai. How do they give mercy? By the holy name. They saved all the souls who were lonely and wretched. The two sinners, Jagai and Madai, are evidence of this. The question we should ask ourselves is, how can we, who are also residents of Kali Yuga, obtain the mercy of Nityananda today in the year 2022? Yes, we all have heard about how Lord Nityananda saved Jagai and Madai, but that was a little bit more than 500 years ago. Is there any chance that I, today in February of the new year, can also obtain the extraordinary mercy of Lord Nityananda? And yes, there are two ways in which this mercy can be gotten. The first way is by falling flat on the floor before Lord Nityananda. Tomorrow you should have one very important project. You should go to your deities, go Nitai deities, or if you are in Mayapur, you can go to the Panchatattva deities, and then in a very simple and serious gesture of surrender, you should throw yourself on the ground before Lord Nityananda and just pray petitiously for his mercy. Please allow me to just use this for a moment. Done. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we find an evidence of this simple method to obtain the mercy of Nityananda. There are two verses. Prema mata nitananda kripa avatara utamadhama kichu nakare vichara. Means, because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, Lord Nityananda does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He accepts everyone. Now, I do know, when I was a child, I lived on an island, and there was one person who was constantly intoxicated. And I would go to him and say, please give me 100 marks. This is something like $100. And because the person did not distinguish, is he my relative or not, he would just give boom to everyone he asked. So Lord Nityananda also is intoxicated, but in a different way. He is intoxicated with love, and he does not draw any border between the good and the bad. And then, but there's one thing he wants to see. Ye age padaya tare karaye nishtara ateva nishtarila mohena durachara. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore, he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me, says Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So he delivers all those who fall down before him. This is not always easy to surrender. Once Srila Prabhupada was in Seattle, America, and gave a lecture, and after at the end of the lecture, all those who were attending the lecture bowed down to him, except for one student. He was a guest. He had come for the first time. Now, when Prabhupada asked for questions, this student raised his hand and said, "I do not wish to bow down before anyone." And Srila Prabhupada said, "See, this is the material disease." He diagnosed the student. And he said, "You are already bowing down to everyone. You're bowing down to death. You're bowing down to disease." I think we all know when there's a heavy disease, we are overwhelmed and we are flat on the floor in our bed. We are bowing down. You are bowing down to old age. You are bowing down to so many things. You are forced. And still you are thinking, "I cannot bow down. I don't like it." So the question is, listen, where shall I be happy? Even by bowing down. That is Krishna. I think we know if we can have a darshan of the deities, pray sincerely, and afterwards pay our obeisances, we become so happy, we become so released, and we always know Krishna has accepted me the way I am. So this is one way. The second way is indicated by Prabhupada also. To approach Radha and Krishna, he says, you need the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, you need the mercy of Nityananda. And to get the mercy of Nityananda, you have to approach people like Jagai and Madai. You have, in other words, to do something good for others and preach to them. The Bhakti Ratnaka talks about this important point, giving Krishna consciousness. It says, the work says, Bhakti is the hidden treasure in the heart of a devotee. This means all of us have bhakti, but it may be hidden at times. However, this hidden treasure becomes available to the devotee only when he or she helps another person to acquire bhakti. Let's just think about this. Bhakti is with us, but hidden, not manifested. However, when we go and do something to uplift a fallen soul, at that time, the bhakti which is there in a covered form in our heart comes to the foreground. Have we not all experienced this? That when we were giving bhakti or spreading Krishna consciousness to other people, we became unexplainably happy, but it was not an ordinary happiness like after eating a very well prepared pizza or a very well prepared plum chutney. No, when we actually share bhakti with another person, we feel the pleasure of bhakti rising in our heart. Lord Nityananda himself is a very, very wonderful preacher. It is said that once Lord Nityananda went to Saptagram and took his bath there in the Ganga. Then he sat under a tree and started to loudly chant the holy name in his sweet way. Lord Nityananda gives love by chanting the holy name. Prem Datta Nitai Nityananda. So, as he was sitting, one person who was actually, when Lord Nityananda was in the spiritual world and when he was as Balaram and Braj, who was with him at that time, he had this servant of him. I think his name is Subal, but I might correct myself. This person who had now taken birth in Saptagram heard his eternal master chanting the holy name. So he ran, and there on the bank of the Ganga, he saw this person. I know him. And he surrendered to him. Lord Nityananda went to various places where his associates from when he was Balaram and Braj had taken birth, and he reclaimed them. He all got them. So Nityananda embraced him, and only a few days later he initiated him as Udharana Datta. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaks about Udharana Datta in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, Udharana Datta was the foremost of all Mahabhagavat devotees. He had completely engaged his mind, body and words in worshipping Nityananda. Nityananda used to stay at his house, and Udharana Datta served him. Udharana Datta had taken his birth in one caste of goldsmiths, and these are people who dealt with gold. They were known in those days as Suvarna Vanik. And because this group had some issues with the king, Bal Sena of Bengal, Bal Sen used to take a lot of money and borrow it, but he couldn't pay it back. Therefore, after he had spent all the money from this community, the community stopped to give him further loans of money, and Bal Sen's ego was so disturbed that he totally threw them out of the social system and called them outcasts. So Udharana Datta belonged to that community, and he was known as an outcast at that time. So I want to tell you one particular pastime. But because Udaradatta was such a great devotee, he became so much loved by the people of Saptagram that the Brahmanas became envious of him. When there was a famine, Udaradatta organized a huge warehouse where he stored rice and lentils and took care of all the victims of the famine. He used to be such a great dancer that one other servant of Nityananda would sing kirtan, and Udaradatta would just chant and sing, totally intoxicated with love of Godhead, very much like Lord Nityananda. So the Brahmin community became so envious. This is an outcast person, and everyone goes to this Udaradatta. So once, when Lord Nityananda was a guest of Udaradatta, this particular envious Brahmin came to him and challenged him. Actually, he said, Jnana is superior to Bhakti, and I will prove it from the Shastras. So Lord Nityananda thought, he is a Brahmana, many people are listening, I will not defeat him immediately, and not like this. So when lunchtime came, he said, why don't you take some lunch and we discuss afterwards? So the Brahmin agreed. He was sure, I will win the debate. But so he sat down. But when he found out that Udaradatta, the very Udaradatta, had cooked this food, he just wanted to get up and leave. Lord Nityananda said, no, wait. You know, when something is offered to Krishna, this food is offered to Krishna, it becomes totally pure. So you please respect this food, although it is offered by Udaradatta. Some of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers in his time were also hesitant to accept food which we, the Western disciples, had cooked. But Prabhupada used the same argument as Lord Nityananda. No, it is offered to Krishna, it is pure. And then Lord Nityananda used the second argument. He said, see, when someone is a Vaishnava, he is transcending his lower birth and he becomes highly elevated. So the Brahmana calmed down, and after all, he wanted to continue the debate. So he was just getting ready. He sat down, and the prasadam was coming out. And who comes and serves prasadam? Udaradatta, the Mahabhagavat. And the Brahman sees the Udaradatta. He jumps up from the plane and says, I cannot and I will not accept food from the heads of Udaradatta. And at that time, Lord Nityananda decided, now I will convince this Brahmana. He said to Udaradatta, give me your cooking spoon. It was not a spoon, it was a stick. So Udaradatta gave the stick, a dry stick, which had been used for cooking. Lord Nityananda put the stick in the ground, and immediately, right before the eyes of everyone, the stick began to grow into a wonderful Madhavi plant with beautiful, sweetly smelling Madhavi flowers. And my dear listeners, this Madhavi tree, which was planted by Lord Nityananda from his stick, the stick of Udarandatta, it is, and which grew on the spot. You can still see it. It is in the courtyard of Udarandatta, where this Leela took place, and it shades the Samadhi Mandir of Udarandatta. So, my dear devotees, my dear friends, and my dear skeptics, if we have any on this call, by Lord Nityananda's mercy, even a dry stick could get life and produce beautiful flowers. So what will happen to you if you try to follow these two recommendations to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda? Do you remember? I cannot actually see you and so on, so better I say. 2 ways on Lord Nityananda's appearance day, that is tomorrow. Please find a peaceful time where you can really be there with body, mind and heart and pay your humble obeisances to Lord Nityananda and pray for his mercy. That is the first thing. The second way, as Prabhupada has introduced us to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, is to do exactly what Lord Nityananda did. That is to share bhakti with the fallen souls. All of you on the call, think of something you can do, maybe to distribute a book, maybe to talk to a neighbor and a friend, maybe to invite someone to the temple and show them the temple. Anything. Think of anything that shares bhakti with the fallen souls. My time is up. I thank you very much, also Radhapati, for inviting me. It is always such a great opportunity to be with the devotees of Sri Dham Mayapur. I know that after me there is His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and I already feel bad. I went a little over time, so I will stop here. Thank you very much, and Hare Krishna.
Respected Maharaj, because His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj was just stepping out and you came in, and both you acharyas were discussing, so I did not even get an opportunity to welcome you. So, on behalf of ISKCON Mayapur, I extend a very, very warm welcome to you, Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you. It has always been, Shachinandan Maharaj, it has always been an absolute pleasure because the kind of sweetness that you bring and with such innocence these words come out of your lotus mouth. It was actually a nectar to the ears. Thank you very, very much for taking time out. And as Maharaj was telling, a message to all the viewers and the audiences, you must take your time out in a private space for some time with your mind, body, and heart and offer a prayer to Lord Nityananda. And that was a message that Maharaj gave. And then distribute a book, invite somebody to temple. And I would just take this opportunity to add one more thing. Celebrate Nityananda Prabhu's auspicious appearance day with all the devotees with full fervor and full joy. So thank you, Maharaj, for your kind words. We are very happy every time I reach out to you, you accept this invitation. Thank you very, very much. Danvat pranams. Hare Krishna. So we will resume to the Ekachakra Parikrama because now we are going to see ISKCON Ekachakra temple. But I would like to remind all the audiences and viewers one of the most important announcement. ISKCON Mayapur is urging and requesting all the viewers to kindly go to servemayapur.com website, because the best time to serve Sri Ekachakra Dham is now. Tomorrow we're going to feed 20,000 Dhamvasis from Sri Ekachakra Dham and the nearby areas. And as I shared with you, each plate is costing us 40 rupees. So that's 800,000, which means 8 lakh rupees we are spending only to feed the Dhamvasis. Then there is the Abhishek, there is Adiva ceremony which is going on as we are speaking, and the deity decoration and prasadam for all the resident devotees and the Kirtaniyas who have gone there for a 3-day Kirtan Mela program. So now is the time to serve the Savior Lord with all your heart, and this particular occasion in his very birthplace. ISKCON Mayapur would be collecting this Lakshmi and transferring this 100% to Sri Ekachakra Dham in the service of Lord Nityananda. So I would keep reminding you that a simple contribution of 20,000 rupees can actually feed 500 Dhamvasis. You can go ahead and sponsor smaller ingredients such as curd, honey for Abhishek, milk, or any other ingredient which is mentioned there on the website. So please go to Serve Mayapur. All the options are there. You can use your debit card, credit card. If you have joined us from the foreign countries, you can make the contribution through PayPal, or if you are using the UPI ID through PhonePe or Google Pay, that facility is also there. So please visit servemayapur.com to contribute for Sri Ekachakra Dham. Thank you very much. And now we are taking you to ISKCON Ekachakra to take darshan of the beautiful temple and the beautiful deities. Hare Krishna. I would request the tech team to kindly resume to the
So please come to Ekachakra Dham. Take shelter of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Try to come once a year for a few days. Stay in ISKCON campus. We have nice facilities here. Enhance your spiritual life by residing in Ekachakra at least 3-4 days, if not 1 week, 10 days in Ekachakra Dham. You come with your family, come with your friends. It's the most beautiful place. Hare Krishna. Jai Nitai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hare Krishna, great news for everybody. Whole world has been visiting Sri Dham Mayapur, a place which was not known even if to the people of West Bengal, has become famous all over the world. In Mayapur, where the Mayapur Chandra, the moon of Mayapur has arisen, has touched the heart of the people of whole world. But there is one most secret place, most sacred and most secret place, that is Ekachakra Dham, where Ekachakra moon has arisen, Lord Nityananda Prabhu's place. This place is very unique. So another place non-different from Vrindavan also. Unless somebody visit this place, you will not understand what I am talking about. The mood of people here and the flavor of the soil and atmosphere is very, very interesting. It is something that one must experience. So here International Society for Krishna Consciousness, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, developing a unique project. This project is not for people to come and settle here, but to people to come and spend few days of the year, to have a excellent experience, to get the spiritual flavor, devotional flavor. This place is surcharged with so many sweet pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu. The same exact, not like in Mayapur, there is dispute or many places went inside Ganga, then it was discovered by our previous acharyas. But here, each and every place is as it is. The tree, the pond, the exact location, you will find as it is. And this place is filled with so many sweet pastimes of Lord Nityananda. And the ISKCON Ekachakra is going to develop a nice project. There is a nice pond here, but we are planning to have nice cottage all around this pond. No high-raised building, so that the charm of the village atmosphere is preserved here. Lot of gardens. This is a place so that one can come and spend very relaxed mood and do Hari Bhajan. This place of Nityananda, you must know, this is not ordinary place, where you will get the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Nitai karuna habe, Braja Radha Krishna pave. So that is important. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the great, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed love of Godhead through Nityananda. So we should not forget that we must take shelter of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. And Lord Nityananda's lotus feet is very safe, really must secured. And we will do Krishna Bhajan, Hari Bhajan, Gaur Bhajan under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The master plan is emerging now, different plan is taking place, beautiful temple, beautiful deities are installed, very excellent temple has been built, and now many visitors are getting attracted with a museum, they have a small guest house, but we want to expand it more and more, so that a few devotees of the whole world can come to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So let the glories of Lord Nityananda spread all over the world. Let the whole world come here to take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So that kind of atmosphere will be created. We will not create atmosphere is already existing here. We will create some facilities so that devotees can come and peaceful, they can do their Gauru Bhajan under the care of Lord Nityananda. Here is a nice place where Vishwarup came and was taking rest, the place where Pancha Pandavas came, the tree under which Lord Nityananda was playing, and that same pond he was having different pastimes of Kaliya, Dalan pastimes, and also Ramlila pastimes, and same temple of Jagannath temple that Harai Pandit was worshipping, and same Shiva temple that Harai Pandit established, that Shiva Linga, all exact things, and added with the mood of these villagers, ancient mood, and hundreds of cows surrounding our property. Whole village is filled with cows. Very nice mood here. So any of you want to be part of this project, which is emerging very nicely, you want to contribute something, you want to give idea for this project, financially help or sponsor something, or keep a little space or a room for you so that you can come spend some time here in Nityananda Dham, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are here to serve you, to facilitate you, to bring you to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, so that our human life, our spiritual life, our devotional life will be more easier. So that's why Nityananda Prabhu is here, to make our life more easy, to move forward to the spiritual world. That is his business. And we are welcoming the devotees of the whole world. Please be part of this project and make your life successful, blissful, and this way there will be great charm to your life. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Please contact us. Hari Bol.
Nitai Pada Kamala 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 Koti Chandra Sushitara Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitara. Nitaye Charana Satya Tahara Simha Nitya Nitai Pada Sada Kurva Nitai Pada Sada Kurva.
Taking us through this beautiful parikrama, and as we move ahead in our digital parikrama, we'll just pause for a few minutes again to convey the same message, that this is the last opportunity today when you can go ahead and visit the website called www.sarvmayapur.com. The contributions that you are going to make will be used exclusively to celebrate Sri Nityananda Trayodashi festival in Ekachakra Dham. We request you to make your contribution to serve the Dhamvasis, to help us perform a magnificent Abhishek of Sriman Nityananda Prabhu. And along with that, we will be utilizing your contributions in developing the infrastructure of the temple. So this is a great moment for the simple reason that this is the moment of Adivas, in which we enter into the consciousness of tomorrow's festival. That is the purpose of observing Adivas. And what is the best way to enter into that consciousness than to serve the Lord directly for his own very birthplace. So with this, I would once again very humbly request you that all of you who are watching and simply visit the seva as small a service as offering some honey, some curd, some ghee, or some milk for the Abhishek, or feeding the Dhamvasis. We are going to feed 20,000 Dhamvasis tomorrow, and you all can become a part of it. वे सभी भक्तगण जो हमें मायापुर टीवी पर लाइव देख रहे हैं इस समय, और मायापुर टीवी के फेसबुक चैनल और यूट्यूब चैनल पर हमें लाइव देख रहे हैं, उन सभी से मैं सविनय निवेदन करता हूं कि वो क्षण अब आ चुका है। हम आज आदिवास उत्सव मना रहे हैं, और उसी श्रृंखला के अंतर्गत हमने परम पूजनीय लोकनाथ स्वामी महाराज से श्रवण किया। तत्पश्चात हमने परम पूजनीय शचीनंदन स्वामी महाराज से श्रवण किया, और अब कुछ ही क्षणों बाद में हम परम पूजनीय भानु स्वामी महाराज के मुखारविंद से नित्यानंद प्रभु की लीलाओं का श्रवण करेंगे। ये वो अवसर है जब आप आदि गुरु, गुरु तत्व और भगवान के सेवकों में सबसे बड़े सेवक श्रीमद नित्यानंद प्रभु की विशेष सेवा कर सकते हैं। उनके अपने जन्म स्थान एक चक्र धाम हेतु हम आप सभी को निवेदन करते हैं कि कृपया आगे आइए और हमें सहायता कीजिए, ताकि हम इस उत्सव को अत्यंत भव्य तरीके से मना सके, जिससे कि अधिक से अधिक संख्या में भक्तगण नित्यानंद प्रभु का महाप्रसाद स्वीकार कर सकें, उनकी कृपा स्वीकार कर सकें, अपना भजन या तो प्रारंभ कर सकें या और गहरा कर पाएं। इसी उद्देश्य से श्रील प्रभुपाद ने इन महामहोत्सवों की रचना करके इन्हें डाला। ये पहले भी थे, लेकिन प्रभुपाद ने हमारी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कृष्ण भावनामृत संघ नामक इस संस्था में इतने उत्सव भरे ताकि नए लोग आकर्षित हों, और जो भक्त बन चुके हैं वे और अधिक गहराई से भगवत भक्ति में अंदर उतरें और आगे बढ़ें। इसी विनय के साथ मैं पुनः आपसे विनती करता हूं, कृपा करके इस वेबसाइट पर जाकर आप कल के लिए नित्यानंद प्रभु को अपनी तरफ से उनके आविर्भाव दिवस पर एक भेंट का उपहार दीजिए। प्रत्युत्तर में आप उनकी वो कृपा प्राप्त कीजिए जिससे गौरांग महाप्रभु की कृपा मिलती है। नित्यानंद प्रभु की कृपा होने पर चैतन्य महाप्रभु की कृपा उपलब्ध है। ऐसा शिवानंद सेन के साथ हुआ है, ऐसा रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी के साथ हुआ है, ऐसा नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर के साथ हुआ है। और ये परिपाटी, ये इतिहास साक्षी है कि यदि हम उसी श्रृंखला के अंतर्गत पहले अपने आदि गुरु को प्रसन्न करते हैं या उनके प्रतिनिधि जो हमारे दीक्षा गुरु के रूप में हैं उन्हें प्रसन्न करते हैं, तो हमें गौरांग महाप्रभु की कृपा प्राप्त होती है, जिससे हम हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र के भजन का फल प्राप्त करते हैं और हमें राधा कृष्ण की कृपा प्राप्त होती है। अतएव आप इस अवसर का पूरा लाभ लेवें और इस सेवा में निश्चित रूप से, मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा कि आप सहयोग देवें, क्योंकि नित्यानंद प्रभु के जन्म दिवस पर सहयोग की कोई भी आवश्यकता नहीं है। आपकी सेवा आपके अपने शुद्धिकरण हेतु है, आपकी सेवा आपके अपनी भक्ति के विकास हेतु है। हम यहाँ जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजर्स हैं, हमारा कार्य केवल आपकी सेवा को भगवान तक और उनके भक्तों तक पहुंचाना है। हरे कृष्णा। आइए हम बचे हुए वीडियो का एक हिस्सा देखें, जहां पर ये अंतिम खंड है नित्यानंद प्रभु के जन्म स्थान श्री एकचक्र धाम की परिक्रमा का, और फिर हम परम पूजनीय भानु स्वामी महाराज से नित्यानंद प्रभु के विषय में कथा श्रवण करेंगे। हरे कृष्णा। जय। I would request the tech team to kindly now play the video. Thank you.
Nitai Pada Kamala 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 Koti Chandra Sushitara Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitara Nitaye Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka Nitya Nitai Pada Sada Kurva Nitai Pada Sada
Maharaj joined at 8.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Everybody. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Kindly accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. On behalf of ISKCON Mayapur, I, Radhapati Gopinath Das, extend you a very warm welcome on this program titled as Nitai Kathamrita. The floor is all yours, Maharaj. Kindly enlighten the audiences who are live on Mayapur TV, on Mayapur TV Facebook page, and on Mayapur TV YouTube. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, your audio was very low. Can you hear me?
Maharaj, can you, I can very loud, clearly hear you, Maharaj. Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me
can
now?
barely hear you at all, so I don't know what's wrong, but anyway.
You can start, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Okay, doesn't need any translation? No.
No, Maharaj, no.
No. Okay. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutade Shivate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Prachadane Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Vasatade Shatadane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're celebrating the appearance day of Nityananda Prabhu, close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest his nature as avatar for Kali Yuga doing Sankirtan for some time. In his childhood, of course, he was quite naughty, and then he began to study, and then he began to act like a logician and defeat everybody. And the devotees like Srinivas Pandit and Advaita Acharya were lamenting, this is such a terrible boy because he's so much involved in logic, and this is very much opposed to bhakti. So they thought, well, when will this child become a devotee? And they prayed that he would get a transformation of his heart. So but then he grew, and then he also began to teach. And then he went to Gaya. Then he returned from Gaya, and he was transformed. Of course, there he took Diksha, and he also got the holy name. And when he came back, he was a different person. He was intoxicated with the name. So then all the devotees like Advaita Acharya and Srivas and Haridas, they were very, very joyful because of this great transformation. So from then on, we see his pastimes of Sankirtan in Mayapur and Navadvip, which is considered to be like the Ras Leela in Krishna Leela. So Krishna has his pastimes in Vrindavan when he grew until he was 8 years old. Then he manifested Madhurya Rasa and the Rasa dance. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from Gaya and he began the Sankirtan movement in Navadvip, that Sankirtan movement is considered to be like the Rasa Leela. And Krishna's Leela's Rasa Leela. In Navadvip, it is Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. Of course, it's slightly different because Lord Chaitanya is not acting as Krishna the enjoyer, he's acting as a devotee. But he got the same bliss through Nam Sankirtan. In other words, the highest level of bliss, which is in Madhurya Rasa and the Ras Leela was available through kirtan. And of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees would spend the night doing kirtan, and they would lock the door of Srivas Pandit's house so no one could get in. Unqualified people couldn't get in. And they would do kirtan, and they would relish the highest ecstasies because of that kirtan. So this went on for some time. Maybe a year or so. So then Lord Chaitanya at one time said, I'm not getting any pleasure. What's wrong? Kirtan is supposed to give the highest pleasure. I'm not getting the highest pleasure. So then he thought, and he said, oh, I think we have to distribute kirtan to all the people. So he ordered his devotees, you go out and you preach to everybody and tell them to chant the holy name. So then after that, the doors were no longer locked at night with the private kirtans. All the devotees went out and they began spreading the holy name. That, of course, is when that happened, then this is when Nityananda Prabhu manifested, and he and Haridas, they went and they preached to Jagai Madai, and of course they were attacked, but eventually Lord Chaitanya was merciful and they became devotees. So Lord Chaitanya manifested his pastimes of kirtan at a certain point. So it is at that point that Nityananda made his appearance. Before that, he was also hidden, just as Lord Chaitanya was hidden, and he was performing pastimes of teaching and logic, etc. So Nityananda Prabhu also was not there. And he was waiting when Lord Chaitanya would manifest this form of doing kirtan. So he actually was said that he was waiting in Vrindavan. And when he understood that Lord Chaitanya was going to manifest his kirtan pastimes, then Nityananda came to Navadvip, and then he manifested himself, and with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu they began many pastimes. So the we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, also in Chaitanya Bhagavat, and of course in other works like Kavi Karnapura's work on the identities of the different persons in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Nityananda is identified as Balaram. We see in pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna is the main figure, and throughout the Bhagavatam, Krishna is always the main person. But in Vrindavan and in Dwarka, he's supported by Balaram, who is also his brother. He's also older, senior, and he assists Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he assists Krishna. And in the same way, we have Nityananda assisting Lord Chaitanya in the Sankirtan movement. Of course, they're both Supreme Lord. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see that Nityananda is also the Purusha avatars. In the very beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it glorifies Nityananda as being the Purusha avatars, Mahashankarshan, etc. So he's an expansion of the Lord. So he's also Supreme Lord. He's not a Jiva. At the same time, he also serves the Lord. Just as Vishnu serves Krishna, or others serves Krishna. So, and Balaram serves Krishna. So Nityananda also, he's the Supreme Lord, but he acts as the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is has its advantages. So we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita there is that if you want to approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have to go through Nityananda. So we go through the servant to get to the master. So we go through Nityananda to get to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, you can get to Krishna by going through Balaram also, similar. Balaram and Nityananda have a particular role, and this is glorified in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Nityananda is called, and Balaram are called the Adi Guru. Of course, Guru is one we take shelter of to get to Krishna. So the Adi Guru who we take shelter of is Balaram or Nityananda. So if we want to get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, because he is Adi Guru. Of course, we see, well, we'll ask the question, well, look in Krishna's pastimes, how does Balaram act as a guru? We don't see him giving diksha to anybody, or even he just teach. Krishna teaches Bhagavad Gita, but Balaram doesn't say much, whatever. He just gets intoxicated with honey, stuff, whatever. He gets angry sometimes. Likes to fight with the demons. But how does he act as guru? Of course, if we examine closely, he is the first expansion from Krishna. Balaram is the first expansion, say, and then from Balaram, then we get expansions of Narayana and the Chaturvyuha, and we get Mahashankarshan, who is Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, the avatars, etc. All expansion, like this. But ultimately, the first manifestation after Krishna is Balaram, first one. So he's the immediate next person to Krishna. So if we want to approach Krishna, ultimately we have to get up to Balaram to get to Krishna. Of course, there's another method. Let's go through Radha. So there's two methods. One go through Radha, one go through Balaram. So anyway, the Adi Guru, therefore, is Balaram. Of course, another function is why he's Adi Guru is that his immediate expansion among the Purusha avatars is he is Mahashankarshan, who is Mahavishnu. And who is Mahavishnu? Mahavishnu is the shelter of all the jivas. When there's a pralaya, all the jivas, conditioned jivas in the material world, merge into the body of Mahavishnu or Mahashankarshan, who's expansion of Balaram. And he takes care of them, lets them sleep for a while. And so he's their ultimate shelter. And then, of course, when they get material desires, then he says, okay, it's ready to go out. And then he puts them back in the material world. He creates the universes and pushes the jivas into the material worlds, and they continue from previous karmas, and they take bodies, and then they continue in their work, whatever. And then when everything's finished, then again, he gives shelter to all the jivas and lets them take a good rest, and they get nice rest. And then when they're ready to wake up, then he sticks them back in the material world again. So he's the shelter of all the jivas in the material world. Of course, we can say, well, he's not really guiding them so much, but because they have no will to surrender to the Lord, what can he do at that point? But through his agency, then there's expansion of Garbhodaksha, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and when a jiva becomes a little interested or favorable to the Lord, then this Vishnu form begins to give guidance to the jiva. So he becomes a guru, Chaitya Guru, inner guru for that person. Therefore, this is expansion of ultimately Balaram. So this way, Balaram is again the guru for the jivas in the material world. So, as I said, he's celebrated as Adi Guru in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So the devotees, therefore, have a great attachment to Nityananda because he is the ultimate guide for the jivas. Of course, we say all devotees are gurus and all of Chaitanya's associates are gurus. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is guru. But Balaram has a very nice function because we see that he is involved in preaching. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu retired in Puri. And for the last years of his life, he stayed there. After he went, of course, he went to South India, he came back, he went to Vrindavan, came back. Then he stayed only in Puri and would visit Jagannath temple and come back. but he didn't go out, didn't travel around and preach everywhere. But what he did is he ordered Nityananda Prabhu to do the preaching. And so this way we see that Nityananda again is acting as the guru. He was his main mouthpiece for preaching. Others, of course, preached like Advaitacharya, Srivas Pandit, etc., Vidakar, but Nityananda was very active. And he would travel from village to village, town to town, with all of his associates, and come to a place, and they would sit there and do kirtan, and then he would preach to everybody. And he would go for, when that village was finished, he would go to the next town, next village, sit there, kirtan, preaching. Then he would go to the next one. So this is how he went all over Bengal and let's say Bangladesh and wherever he went. He would do this on the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not do that preaching in his later years. He simply sat in Puri. It was an ecstasy. But Nityananda Prabhu did all of this work of giving guidance to the jivas, giving inspiration to the jivas, acting as guru for all the fallen souls of this material world. We see, of course, when the story of Jagai and Madai is there, the Lord Chaitanya became very angry at Jagai and Madai because they had attacked and wounded Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. But Nityananda intervened. You cannot become angry, because your mission is to save the most fallen operatis. And these are the fallen operatis. So you cannot condemn them, you cannot punish them. You have to be merciful to them. So there we see the intervention again of Nityananda Prabhu, reminding Lord Chaitanya to be merciful to even the most fallen people. So this was the quality of Nityananda Prabhu, very, very merciful to all people, even the most fallen people. And he would risk everything to save the jivas in the material world. There's an expression that can't criticize Nityananda for going into a liquor house, going into the wine shop. Because he sometimes may go into the wine shop. So don't think he's going there to get intoxicated. He's going there to preach. He wants to save all the jivas of the material world. So he goes into the wine shop and he preaches and delivers all the fallen people there. So he may do very extraordinary activities, some which are very unusual, like going into the liquor shop or the wine shop. But his intention is to deliver all the souls in the material world. So he sometimes takes very bold steps like that. So in this way, we see that his mission was to deliver all the fallen souls. And this is under the guidance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in that sense, also he is the Adi Guru. So therefore, when we approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is very merciful, and without Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we can't get to Radha Krishna. But to get to Lord Chaitanya, then we go through Nityananda Prabhu. So that is why we have songs about, Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The relationship between Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya is like Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. So that relationship is one of friendship, or sakya. And we see that relationship between Krishna and Balaram and between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. They acted as friends. And if you see the nectar devotion there, when it talks about Sakya Rasa, what are the activities of Sakya Rasa? The activities are to joke, to fight, to play together, play games together. So this we see with the cowherd boys, Krishna and Vrindavan. They go out in the field, they play together, they have fights, they tease each other, they eat together, they joke. So we see that manifesting in the relationship between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Uh, there are many stories like that in the different, when it describes the pastimes in Navadvip. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll see there when Nityananda went to Panihati. Lord Chaitanya was in Puri, so he wasn't there. But Nityananda was there with his group, who were also cowherd boys in Krishna Lila. So they are associates of Nityananda who are called the Dwadasa Gopals, and they're identified as certain Gopals, certain cowherd boys in Vrindavan, like Abhiram Thakur and others in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes and Nityananda's pastimes. So they would travel with Nityananda Prabhu, so they're identified as cowherd boys in Krishna Lila. So they were with Nityananda Prabhu when he came to Panihati. And what did they do? First, they ordered Raghunath to make all this chira doi, and then they sat down and they ate it. So they were like the cowherd boys in Vrindavan. They sat down, just as in the 13th chapter of 10th canto, we see how Krishna and the cowherd boys sat down on the bank of the Jamuna, and then they brought out all the lunches, they spread it all out, and they began eating. So we see Nityananda Prabhu did this in Panihati. They all began to sit down with all the devotees, and they all began to eat. And then Nityananda called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Puri mentally. So they couldn't see directly, but then Nityananda saw him. So Lord Chaitanya was there, and he began to feed Lord Chaitanya and put food in his mouth. And he was joking with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just as Krishna would put food in the mouth of a cowherd boy, and a cowherd boy would put food in the mouth of Krishna like this. So they were exchanging food and joking together. No one could see that, but they could see that Lord Nityananda was doing something. So he was actually joking with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and feeding him at that time. So they were acting like cowherd boys at that time. And, of course, in pastimes in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, but equivalent to the pastimes in Vrindavan. So in this way, they had this joking type of relationship with each other, very friendly relationship. And of course, we see sometimes Nityananda would also get very angry, kick Shivananda Sen once out of great anger. So we see that Balaram also is very angry sometimes. He gets very angry. He has a temper, whatever like that. So he had very similar traits that manifest, in spite of the fact that because he's acting as a devotee, not as Balaram, is somewhat covered over. But the pastimes and the character of Balaram manifests in Nityananda Prabhu to some degree. So in this way, he manifests in this form as some of the qualities of Balaram's pastimes. And as I said, with the other associates who were like the Dwadasa Gopals in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, he acted in the same way with those people in a very friendly way. Just as the cowherd boys interact in Vrindavan, so with the devotees in Navadvip, Nityananda had a very friendly relationship with those people, acting just as the cowherd boys acted. So in this way, he establishes relationships with those people in Sakya Rasa. But then, of course, because he is the introduction to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then those people that want Madhurya Rasa, then they get the mercy of Nityananda through Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya is merciful, and he gives entrance into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has the mood of Radha, and he's very merciful, so he can allow you to appreciate the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So if you want Madhurya Rasa, you go up to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you participate in those pastimes. So anyway, the Nityananda, as I said, important because it's through his mercy we can approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So on this celebrating the appearance day of Nityananda Prabhu, we can meditate on this. So fortunately, we have now the birthplace of Nityananda Ekachakra, and the devotees there taking care of that temple. So devotees can also go there, just as we go to the yoga pit and meditate on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you can go to Ekachakra, the birthplace of Nityananda Prabhu, meditate on him there and get the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. But as we said, Nityananda came to Navadvip when Lord Chaitanya started the Sankirtan movement. So we can also get the mercy of Nityananda in Mayapur itself. So we see that at the yoga pit there, we have the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then if you walk a little bit over, how many feet, I don't know, a few hundred feet away, we have Shiva Sangam. And it says Shiva Sangam that the Kirtan movement started. And this is where they locked the doors and they had the kirtans, etc. So many pastimes took place there and all around that area. So then this is Nityananda himself also came there and participated in those pastimes. So he was also having pastimes with Srivas Pandit and others. So we can get the mercy of Nityananda also at the yoga pit and other places in Mayapur. So this is an opportunity for us to remember the great mercy of Nityananda, pastimes of Nityananda, and through that get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Is my voice audible now? Is my voice audible now?
Little bit.
I'm very sorry for this. Somehow the connection has been poor today. But
Okay.
on behalf of ISKCON Mayapur, we thank you, Maharaj, for accepting our invitation and enlightening us with so much philosophy, particularly about Lord Nityananda being the Adi Guru and how by his mercy we receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Maharaj.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Ram. Hare Ram.
And to all our viewers who are watching us on Mayapur TV Live, on Facebook and on YouTube, please visit our website www.servemayapur.com. On this website, you can go ahead and offer your seva for this Adivas ceremony and Nityananda Trayodashi, which is being celebrated tomorrow. All your contributions will be exclusively sent to Sri Ekachakra Dham for the service of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Nothing is a better opportunity than this when you are getting an opportunity to serve the servitor Lord himself on his auspicious appearance day in his very birthplace. So this is the best time to serve Sri Ekachakra Dham. Go to sarvmayapur.com. We are going to feed 20,000 Dhamvasis tomorrow, and each plate of prasadam would cost us around 40 rupees. So we are celebrating this Nityananda Trayodashi by distributing prasadam worth 800,000, which means 8 lakh rupees. And then there is Abhishek services which are there. Then prasadam for all the devotees who are there in Ekachakra Dham as of now. Many Vaishnavas, last 3 days, Kirtan Mela has been going on there and festivals galore have been taking place. So my humble request to not miss this opportunity. A small service by offering milk, curd, honey, ghee or any other Abhishek ingredient, you can sponsor that. And that seva would be going to the Adi Guru, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu. When you give a birthday gift to someone, then you get a return gift. And in the case of Nityananda Prabhu, as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his bhajan, when you pay the price of Shraddha, then Nityananda Prabhu, the marketeer of the holy name, he gives you the holy names. So we will receive mercy either if we are new to the process to chant better, chant more, or start the chanting. But if we are in the process, then we will go deep into our bhajan, and that's the mercy. Do not miss this. वे सभी भक्तगण जो इस समय हमें मायापुर टीवी पर लाइव देख रहे हैं, फेसबुक तथा यूट्यूब पर, आपका हार्दिक अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत है। हम आपसे निवेदन करते हैं कि नित्यानंद त्रयोदशी महोत्सव को मनाने हेतु आप सब सेवा में आगे आइए। सर्व मायापुर SERVEMAYAPUR.com वेबसाइट पर जाकर आप अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन दे सकते हैं। आप हमें फोन पे अथवा गूगल पे के माध्यम से भी इस वेबसाइट के माध्यम से अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन हमें भेज सकते हैं। आपकी सेवा कल 20,000 धामवासियों को प्रसाद सर्व करने में दी जाएगी। हर व्यक्ति में इतना सामर्थ्य होता है कि वो परम भगवान श्रीमद नित्यानंद प्रभु के आविर्भाव दिवस पर अपनी तरफ से उन्हें उनके प्राकट्य दिवस में उनके जन्म स्थान पर कुछ न कुछ सेवा अर्पित कर सके। ऐसा कहा जाता है कि चिड़िया चोंच भर ले गई, सागर घट्यो न नीर, दान दिए धन न घटे, ये कह गए संत फकीर। ये संतों की वाणी है कि जब हम सर्विस करते हैं, सेवा करते हैं, दान देते हैं, तो उससे हमारे धन में कमी नहीं आती है। उसी सिद्धांत को ध्यान में रखते हुए और अपनी आध्यात्मिक उन्नति हेतु आप सब आगे आए और सर्वमायापुर.com वेबसाइट पर आप क्रेडिट कार्ड के माध्यम से, डेबिट कार्ड के माध्यम से, नेट बैंकिंग से, अथवा अगर आप विदेश से सुन रहे हैं तो आप पेपैल से या हमारे स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के FCRA अकाउंट से, आप इन अनेक माध्यमों से ये सेवा अर्पित कर सकते हैं। एक सिंपल फोन पे या गूगल पे के माध्यम से भी। ये सब जानकारियां सर्वमायापुर.com में दी हुई हैं। इसी के साथ निताई कथा अमृत नामक यह कार्यक्रम जो 3 दिवसीय कार्यक्रम था वो आज समाप्त होता है। आदिवास का समारोह भी समाप्त हुआ है और कल हम नित्यानंद प्रभु के दिव्य प्राकट्य महोत्सव को मनाएंगे, यहाँ मायापुर धाम में भी और एक चक्र धाम में भी। आप सबसे निवेदन है कि मायापुर टीवी पर आप इस भव्य कार्यक्रम को अवश्य देखें और लाभान्वित हों। इस्कॉन मायापुर की तरफ से मैं राधापति गोपीनाथ दास आप सभी को एक बार पुनः धन्यवाद अर्पित करता हूँ। We request all our audiences now that we are very thankful to you, and this 3-day program now comes to an end here, and we request you to stay tuned and watch tomorrow's auspicious Abhishek ceremony, which will be taking place during the late morning hours. And you all are requested to visit mayapur.tv to take advantage of witnessing that Abhishek ceremony or witnessing it in your local temples. Thank you so much. On behalf of ISKCON Mayapur, I Radhapati Gopinath Das, thank you very much for your participation, your contributions, and those of you who have still not made up their minds, last announcement, you can visit servemayapur.com to contribute for the Ekachakra Nityanand Trayodashi. Hare Krishna. श्रीमन नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। आप सभी भक्त वृंद की जय। निताई गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि। हरे कृष्ण। दंडवत।
Krishna, paite nahi
paite nahi. Nitai bine bhai Radha Krishna paite nahi Virak kari Radha Nitai maae Nitai bine bhai Radha Krishna paite nahi Nitai bine bhai Radha Krishna paite nahi Virak kari dharam Nitai Dira kari dharam Nitai Nitai Jagat Junai Se Sambandha Nahi Jaar Vitha Janma Janata Se Sambandha Nahi Jaar Vitha Janma Nitai na magila mukhe magila sang sarasukhe Nitai na magila mukhe magila sang sarasukhe Vidya